Hello, everyone. My name is Aderonke Akinjobi, and I'm a PhD student of leadership at Carolina University. Today, I'm going to be talking about ethical decision making in organization. For this presentation, I've divided my presentation into three sections. The first section, I'll be talking about ethical leadership, traits of ethical leadership, transformational leadership, and ethical decision making. And then I'm going to give an example of a transformational leader. Section two has to do with decision making. I'm going to be looking at what are ethical decision makings, importance of ethical decision making, the ethical decision framework, theories that support organizational decision making, examples of ethical dilemma, and then the application of ethics theory to ethical leadership. The third section has to do with culture, organizational culture, and how an ethical leadership, strategies for creating an ethical culture within the organization. Then I will talk briefly about authentic leadership and organizational culture. So I will just dive right in. Yeah. So in recent years, corporate wrongdoing and corruption has drawn much public attention to ethical leadership and ethics in organizations. Researchers worldwide have noted that individuals are more likely to prioritize personal objectives um, over business or organizational objectives. So, however, there is an expectation that leaders must demonstrate the highest moral standards and ethics. Thus, ethical leadership has been defined as a crucial component of moral behavior within an organization. Ethical leaders are expected to promote the development of ethical conduct in workplaces through processes and practice. Traits of ethical leadership. An ethical leader is expected to lead by example, to be trustworthy, to consider the safety of employees, to have integrity, transparency, empathetic, and also be socially responsible. Transformational leadership and ethical decisions. Since leadership is a vital part of every organization, it is often the cornerstone of organizational operations and the main driver of change. Transformational leadership has been found to have a positive impact on numerous important organizational outcomes, including ethical decisions. Transformational leaders communicate a compelling vision, they value employees' contribution, and motivate them to prioritize organizational interests. Therefore, transformational leadership are believed to be moral leaders that can influence employees. An example of a transformational leader that was able to influence his organization ethically and impact the society is Sundar Pichai. He's the CEO of Google and his parent company Alphabet. And he demonstrated ethical leadership by addressing issues like user privacy, content moderation, and diversity in technology. In 2021, he made several ethical decisions around data protection, online safety, and also pushed for stronger regulations on privacy. Because of his ethical conduct, uh, Google has been positioned as one of the leaders in corporate responsibility. Going on to section two, we're going to consider what are ethical decisions. In decision making, an individual has to consider alternatives, the uncertainty, the high risk of the consequences, the interpersonal issues, and the complexity. So what are ethical decisions? An ethical decision is defined as a decision that is both legal and morally acceptable to a larger community. Ethical decision making has long been recognized as critical for organizations. Although sometimes ethical decisions are not always clear-cut, and frequently the leader or whoever is making the decision has to weigh several conflicting interests. However, there are ethical decision models that can serve as a guide to leaders or individuals making decisions. Importance of ethical decisions. Ethical decisions Because every decision has consequences, ethical choices are pivotal in shaping the world around us, meaning that ethical decisions impact the organization, the employees, and the society. So they are very important. Making ethical decisions strengthens the organizational culture and promotes trust and integrity. Also, ethical decisions can give an organization a reputation for integrity and, of course, increase opportunities for collaboration. Ethical actions inspire others to follow suit, creating a ripple effect that can lead to possible changes on a larger scale. The ethical decision-making process. Ethical decision is a process of generating and implementing ethical decisions. And for decisions to be regarded as ethical, it must satisfy three basic principles. It must compliance, consensus, and consequences. Compliance because it must align with laid down standard and regulations for that industry. Consensus because all stakeholders, relevant stakeholders must be part of this decision. At least majority of them must concur to the decision. And consequences, the leader or the individual that is making the ethical decisions must also consider the alternatives and the outcomes of those alternatives to decide on a course of action. Ethical decision make framework. This is a guide for individuals or leaders to make decisions. The first thing the individual or the leader has to do is to assess the situation and look at the ethics of the situation and reflect. The second thing is to reflect on the alternatives and the possible outcomes of those alternatives. The third one is selecting an ethical action, which of course maximizes positive impact on the employee, the society, and the organization as a whole. There are theories that support organizational decision making or try to explain how organizations make decisions. The social learning theory is one of such theories, and the social learning theory illustrates how ethical leaders motivate employees' participation in decision making. According to the theory of social learning, employees may attempt to imitate the behavior of role models. So when employees or when leaders are ethical, employees tend to follow suit in their, following the conduct of their leaders. And this theory also says that employees have a higher probability of demonstrating moral affiliation with their organization when it has a strong ethical foundation. Ethical dilemmas and leadership. Decision-making is a very complex procedure, and in today's complex business landscape, ethical dilemmas often arise, posing challenges for organizations and leaders alike. Ethical dilemmas present challenging situations where leaders have to choose between conflicting moral principles. And this occurs in various fields, from medicine to business, we have ethical dilemmas. And in ethical dilemmas, sometimes there are no clear wrong or right answers. So making a decision has to be a process, it's a complex process, and it has to be a well thought through process, applying ethical principles such as honesty, integrity, and fairness. An example or examples of ethical dilemma. In a situation where an organization, for instance, wants to monitor the employee's usage of its resources, and it decides to monitor their computer usage. Of course, the dilemma here is balancing the need for security, because employees would see this action as invading their privacy, and also the leader has to be able to balance the need for security and productivity of the employee. Also, in a situation where a company discovers that one of their products has a minor defect and could potentially harm the customers, then there's the option of choosing to recall the product from the market, thereby incurring significant financial loss and choosing to prioritize their customers' safety. Automobile companies such as Toyota, Nissan have gone this route, and they've recalled vehicles because it posed harm to the customers. Application of ethic theory to ethical dilemma. There are ethics theory that helps leaders to be able to make ethical decisions when they have ethics dilemma. One of those theory was proposed by Jeremy Bentham and John Mill. That theory is the theory of utility, theory of utility, or sometimes called utilitarianism. And this theory suggests that the best action is the one that maximizes happiness, overall happiness or pleasure, and it minimizes pain, meaning that it's a decision that impacts positively, more positively. It also focuses on consequences of action rather than the action themselves. So leaders can be guided by applying this theory to make ethical decisions. Leaders should reflect on consequences rather than the action. And in weighing this alternative, they need to weigh the risk, the benefits, and the potential harm their decisions is going to get to individuals and to the organization. Outline 3 talks about organizational culture. Values serve as the foundation of organizational culture, shaping its norms, beliefs, and behavior. And consistent value-based decision-making cultivates trust and transparency within the organization, such that employees understand the principles guiding their leaders' action. Therefore, organizational culture set the tone for ethical behavior by establishing norms, values, and expectations. Leadership plays a crucial role in modeling and enforcing ethical standards. An authentic leader is one of the leadership style, or authentic leadership is one of the leadership style that is based on honesty and transparency and integrity, and it does therefore promote ethical culture within organizations. Authentic leaders are known to set clear standards, ethical standard as the foundation and to promote ethical culture within the organization. Authentic leaders also communicate with transparency, honesty, and they create a culture of trust, which promotes open communication and collaboration within the organization. So from all of this, it is obvious, or it can be seen, that ethical decision involves adhering to acceptable moral standard. Also, ethical decision-making model emphasizes the necessity of taking norms into account and aim to maximize utility and decrease prejudice. In conclusion, ethical leadership will continue to play a crucial role in ensuring that moral decision-making is not only a theoretical framework, but also a practical daily focus that helps businesses deal with increasing complex ethical difficulties. Thank you for listening. These are my references that I had to go through in conducting my research for this presentation. Thank you.